Hi, everybody. It's Katie Harris, owner of Philly Wellness Center, and this is the Balanced Body Menopause Summit. And I'm really, really excited to introduce everyone to Chantelle Line, who is the owner of SeaFlora. And you are going to love this presentation. It's amazing what seaweed does, and I can't wait to share this with you. So, Chantelle, if you want to, tell us a little bit about who you are and what we're talking about today.
My name's Chantelle, like Katie said, and I am from the lower Ontario. I used to live just south of Detroit. Yes, I said south. I don't know if you know this, but there is a little piece of Canada that is south of Detroit, which is kind of cool. But I knew nothing about seaweed living there most of my life. And then when I came to Vancouver Island, I discovered that Vancouver Island is a gift wrapped in seaweed. And my whole world has changed. I've been on this amazing health journey. And after having surgical removal of my uterus and my ovaries, I was thrown into menopause. And I've been trying to do it naturally ever since. And seaweed has been a big help in my life. So learning about it through skincare and then learning about it through all the benefits and why it was such a great ingredient in the skincare led me to create this beautiful presentation that I'm going to share with you all, because seaweed is nature's gift for most health concerns, including menopause, and offers great menopausal relief. So let's talk about why that is. And I'm going to offer you some holistic approaches to going through menopause that you may want to pair with other therapeutic treatments that Katie has probably taught you about or can offer you. And this will just be one more tool in your tool belt, because going through menopause is a journey and we're all in this together as women. So the more we can help each other to go through it in a kinder, gentler way, the better. So seaweed, it's full of a lot of nutrients, but not just vitamins and minerals and bioactives. It's full of things that our body needs because we have this flowing synergy with the ocean. All life comes from the ocean, so it's no crazy stretch to understand why the ocean can offer so many healing benefits. And it doesn't matter if you're going through natural menopause, which happens usually around 50, or if it's surgical menopause, you're going to have the same common symptoms, which is mood swings. You're going to have changes in your brain function and all kinds of stuff. And it's because we're losing some of our hormones and they're slowing down, and these types of things are happening. But also, the longer we live and the more we consume, the more full our body becomes with toxins that we need to help the body detox so that we can have a healthier, happier life with more vitality. So, some of the common symptoms like sleep disturbances can be easily solved with things like magnesium. But let's talk about every little detail in what seaweed can do. It's a mineral powerhouse, offering over 90 minerals that the body needs. Why? Because the seaweeds, which are really cool how they do this, they don't have any kind of roots. What they have is a holdfast. So you see this rock is growing a little root system that attaches to it, and seaweed spore much like a mushroom. Now on this one rock, I have Mazaella, I have some pyropia, and I also have some alaria growing off of it. So it's growing, this one rock is growing three different types of seaweeds. And the seaweeds grow and grow and grow. Look at this alaria, all coming off of one little rock. And the seaweeds can grow up to 2 feet in 24 hours, which is quite amazing. It makes them one of the, if not the fastest growing organism in the world. Yes, bamboo is the fastest growing plant, but seaweed is not a plant. And we have this saying, all seaweeds are algae, but not all algae is seaweed. To be seaweed, it must grow in the sea. And there's three different families. We have the vital reds, the lush greens, and we have the great browns. what we've realized is that the great browns are thousands of years older, maybe hundreds of thousands of years older. And it's pretty interesting when you have a seaweed like pyropia that we use in sushi. The pyropia that you see in sushi never looks quite like this. You can see my hand through it. You can see my nail polish because it's very transparent, although very strong. So we like to use seaweed in its natural form. We don't process it very much. We like it to be very natural. And sometimes we just go out and harvest a seaweed like uva lactuca and literally just throw it in our soups or salads, because this is almost exactly 5 grams of uva lactuca. And in our research, we've realized that this is about all you need in a day to act as your natural vitamin and mineral support for your body. So instead of a supplement, you could literally just eat approximately this much seaweed to have nutritional benefits, like taking a vitamin and mineral supplement. So all the minerals, vitamin rich. My gosh, the amount of vitamins in seaweed is staggering, and in much higher amounts than in rooted, plants such as your vegetables, your fruits, and your herbs. And the reason is because the seaweeds absorb from the ocean, whereas root systems have to absorb from the soil. So when you're tilling the soil over and over and you're using that same land all the time, those roots are constantly sucking out all the nutrition from the soil. So the soil becomes depleted. And what do they add? They add seaweed to the soil to make it more nutrient dense again. So you'll notice some of the best soils out there use seaweed as the main component to make the soil nice and nutritious again. But beyond what fruits and vegetables and herbs can offer, seaweeds have unique bioactives that can't be found in land plants, such as mycosporin-like amino acids, polysaturated fatty acids, and polysaccharides, alginates, fucoidins, and other things. So you know the slipperiness that you feel on seaweed, that slippery feeling? Those are the alginates. And the alginates act like a second skin for us. They can do so much good stuff inside the body and when topically applied. Let's talk about seaweed for vasomotor symptoms. Well, a lot of us put on weight during menopause, and seaweed is rich in iodine. So it gives you great iodine support, which can be really hard to find in a normal Western diet. It's going to help improve our thyroid function. It's going to help regulate our body temperature and reduce the frequency of hot flashes. So that tells you why iodine is so important in our diet. And when you topically apply iodine, it absorbs into the skin. A great way to know if you're iodine deficient or not is to use something like Lugo's iodine, and it's kind of like a brownish, yellowish, goldish type of color. And when you put it on your skin, I like to put a patch test right here. I just put 1 drop, I rub it, and how long the color lasts tells me how much iodine I actually have in my system. So if I'm really deficient, it's going to suck in like that, and the color will disappear within a few moments to a few hours. But if it lasts 12 to 24 hours, I know my iodine is good. So I like to do a Lugo test at least once a week. Phytoestrogens, let's talk about that. Seaweeds are like a natural hormone replacement if you're eating enough and putting enough on topically, because they offer something very much like estrogen. They contain plant-based estrogens that help to balance the hormones, reduce the vasomotor symptoms, and they offer a natural approach to managing your hot flashes and night sweats. I'm really happy to tell you that in the 4 years of going through menopause, I have not suffered any night sweats at all. And I believe it's because of the amount of seaweed I topically apply and also eat every day. So I do get hot flashes. I like to call them a tropical moment. But the cooling effect of seaweed is so beautiful when you put it on your skin. SeaFlora products, which are really rich in raw, wild, organic seaweed, you get this cooling effect. And that cooling effect can really help when you're having a tropical moment. It absorbs really quickly too because it's meant to go with your skin. There's a very simple cell structure of seaweed. And that simple cell structure is what helps them to grow to be so massive. This is a bulk kelp. And if you don't like the taste of seaweed, something you can do is take the stipe, chop it up, put it into some pickling juice and pickle it. Whoa, because if you like pickles, this is a great way to get the most nutritious pickles you've ever had. Bulk kelp is amazing. But if you want the seaweed that's probably most rich in iodine, you're looking for bladderwrack, commonly known as rockweed. Bladderwrack usually fills up with these little tips here that get full of alginate, but not all of them have it. This is actually a different variety than what I'm used to. You may not know this, but Vancouver Island, the west coast of Canada, all the way up to Alaska, offers more varieties of seaweed than anywhere else in the world. We boast over 600 different species. So this is a great place for me to just go out and get some seaweed anytime I need it. I think we all understand too that omega-3s are very important. They're associated with reducing hot flashes and providing natural relief. But omega-3s are important for a lot of things, from how your brain works to how your heart's functioning. So although we talk sometimes about something being good for one thing, usually these awesome nutrients have a variety of things that they're helpful for, because everything works together in your body. It's not that it just does one thing, it's that it needs these cofactors that all work together. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. During menopause, we dry up a bit. Oh, because we start to get to that age where we lose a little bit of desire for sex, and our body is changing, and our hormones are dying off or slowing down or whatever they do. And we need some help sometimes with getting that lubrication that we were so used to in our 20s and 30s. And I have found that when I first went through the beginning of the changes, I dried up a lot, and it was actually very uncomfortable for me because I've had a high sex drive my whole life. So just eating, like I said, about 5 grams a day, I am not experiencing any of those problems down there. I am still having a little bit of frequency in urination, so I do know that there's some more I can do. I'm not perfect yet, but the more I learn, the more I want to share these great benefits of what seaweed can do. So hydration support. I do notice that women my age, in their 40s and older, they do look very dehydrated. So I won't get down this rabbit hole of structured water, but I really urge you to look up structured water and the importance of it, because the water that we're drinking, especially cold water, our cells cannot properly absorb. So drinking cold water, not a good idea. Drinking room temperature to warm water, our body can soak it up better. But then think about all the things that they're putting in our drinking water. So maybe we have a little bit too much heavy metals or chlorine or different things that are also preventing our cells from really absorbing the hydration in the water. So structured water, look into it. And also think about just, the water that you're drinking and what's in it and how it might be affecting your body. Because a filtration system, a really good one, like a 5-stage, can go a long way. Also, just eating seaweed can help to lock in hydration in your cells. The polysaccharides, when you put them on your body, it can really help to lock in hydration. So hydration support when we're going through this is super important. Also, when we're eating, what are we eating and how is it affecting our glucose levels and also our digestive tract? Because our digestive tract kind of acts like a filter. And over years of our digestive tract filtering things, obviously the filter can get a little clogged up with some gunk. And seaweeds act like a prebiotic fiber. So what's great is that when you eat them, they actually they expand and they become almost gel-like in your digestive tract. And what they do is they actually expand and help to clean the walls as they go down your digestive tract. And the prebiotic fiber is great for lowering your glucose levels and feeling fuller longer and these kinds of things. So it's also going to help with managing urinary issues during menopause for a bunch of different reasons. One, the making you feel full longer is going to help so that you don't feel like you need to drink as much juices maybe or waters that are not going to do the job for you. It's also going to help to clean your digestive tract, which is going to help that when you do have water, the water's going in easier into your body. So there's lots of really cool things happening. But seaweed's also a great chelator. So all those heavy metals that we're building up inside of us, seaweed is great for chelating. So it'll actually stick to those metals and pull them out of your body, which is fantastic news for the heavy metal overload that we're experiencing every day. The mineral absorption. This whole idea that ailments stem from a mineral deficiency, I read a book called Boundless, which is all about that. There's another book called The Mineral Fix. These books changed my life and helped me understand seaweed in a whole new way. Having all these minerals that our body needs and then helping to reduce the overload that we don't need. So it helps with a nice balance. And there's certain minerals that our body can't absorb because we're overloaded with some of the wrong ones, a little bit too much. Like, for example, if you take zinc, did you know that it's depleting your copper? So it's good to actually make sure that you're balancing copper and zinc together so that they can have a nice balance rather than having an overload of one while the other is depleted. It's all about balance, right, ladies? And the sleeping, oh my gosh, I swear I've become like my husband calls me night rider. I become like a zombie. I just can't seem to fall asleep. I lay there, I stare at the ceiling, and I'll spray my feet with magnesium or something, or I'll put some seaweed body gel on, and then boom, I seem to go to sleep within an hour. But if I don't take that time to eat the seaweed, or I decide I'm not going to eat it this week because I'm on vacation, I'm a wreck. I can't sleep without my magnesium. So, eating the seaweed, topically applying it. I made a magnesium spray at home out of the seaweeds so I can literally just spray it on me. It's so helpful in getting that good night's sleep that we need at this age so bad. And the B complex vitamin support. Seaweed has almost all the B vitamins that are out there. I mean, it doesn't have B17, but there's a few maybe that are missing, but like almost everyone is in there and at higher amounts than you're going to get from food. Well, normal food, I should say. Like beef. Beef has great B vitamins, but at such a small amount compared to eating seaweed that it's almost like once you start eating seaweed, I swear you stop having certain cravings for things because your body's getting what it needs. You don't feel like you need to eat as much, maybe, of the beef that you used to eat because you know that beef is so nutritionally dense. You know, these kinds of things. Your diet really changes when you start incorporating seaweed because your body's getting things that it needs that it never got before in such high amounts. And stress reduction. I mean, once your body is happy and healthy, there's a reduction in stress, but there's more to it than that. There's actual unique bioactives that will help you feel good. We all know that lithium makes you feel good in small amounts. So, getting that little bit of lithium that's in the seaweed is going to help you to be in a better mood. And also, when you lower your glucose levels, that helps you to have a better mood. When your insulin is nice and balanced. So there's all these things that just having this beautiful seaweed incorporated into your diet is going to do for you. Why would you not want to? And if you don't like the taste, we've talked about this before, but if you don't like the taste, that's okay. Hide it in your chili, hide it in your curry. Uh, Put it in some clove tea. There's things that you can do, and getting the powdered stuff makes it really easy to just sprinkle over salads, or where you have a salty dish, you won't even notice it. So it's really good if you find ways to incorporate it into your diet. But as I was telling Katie, the more seaweed I eat, the more I actually am starting to like the taste. And Asians call it umami flavor. You may have heard this before. Umami flavor literally is like a seaweed flavor. So it's a little salty and a tiny bit fishy. That's exactly what umami is. It's seaweed flavor. Talk about rich in antioxidants. Wow. Seaweeds are so rich in antioxidants because they offer everything from vitamin C to fucoxanthin. So just amazing amount of antioxidants can be found in your seaweeds that help reduce inflammation, oxidative stress, and it says potentially, but wow, does it ever improve cognitive function. And I have not had the joint pain issue, but I do know a lot of women suffer with that. So getting those antioxidants so that you can get rid of those free radicals and the damaged cells that are in your body is very important. Again, just trying to really help with detoxing the things that the body doesn't need, like damaged cells or, too much heavy metals. It's a big part of this. So getting those essential minerals, definitely important, calcium, magnesium. I have never taken calcium supplements because I don't believe that it does what your body needs. Like if you're taking a calcium supplement and it has a petroleum base, which most of them do, your body is not able to absorb it at all. You literally pee it all out. So what's the point? Instead, you can eat some seaweed or topically apply seaweed, and it's going to help your body to get the calcium it needs. Magnesium, iodine, these love to be absorbed through the skin. Your body absorbs them and then knows what to do with them. And maybe you're worried that it's not going to get right into your bloodstream, but anecdotally, I can tell you almost all transdermal patches for nicotine, hormones, everything, they use seaweed as the delivery system. Seaweed builds the delivery system into your bloodstream. That's why SeaFlora will not put anything toxic in our products. We know how deep these products get into your skin, into your blood, into your body. So it's really important that they're food grade and clean. And that's how we keep it food grade and ultra clean. The anti inflammatory properties are really important too, because not just joint pain and stuff like that, but there's swelling that happens in the tongue, in the flesh, in the muscles, in the everywhere. We get this inflammation that's happening all over our bodies, and it just leads to so much problems. So if we can reduce the inflammation, which is one of the causes of chronic pain, inflammation, we can reduce that, then we're going to have overall improved health. One way to know if you're feeling or suffering inflammation in the body is the Chinese tongue test. So, traditional Chinese medicine tongue test, you can look that up online. You stick your tongue out and you look at it in the mirror. And if you have your teeth indents down the side, you have inflammation in the body. If you don't, then you're probably doing pretty darn good. There's a lot you can tell just by looking at the tongue. So it's really cool to look it up and see what's what in the signs on your tongue. Deep cracks, that means something. Where those deep cracks are means another thing. Like I said, the teeth indents, the little red dots on your skin, how much of a white coating you have on your tongue. And eating seaweed, you'll see a lot of these things disappear and your tongue become healthier over time. So it's good for skin health, absolutely, and for your libido because the drop off in hormones is being helped with seaweed. Also, the amount of zinc is really important in your immune system, your libido, and all kinds of other issues that you may be experiencing going through menopause. A lot of people like to take retinol A. And I believe that when you force retinol A into your skin, you will experience redness, dryness, and maybe even inflammation because your skin wants to make the retinol for you. It doesn't want to be force fed retinol A, which is why a lot of retinol A products do lead to dryness, flaky, redness, etc. Is because your skin is asking you to please stop, please stop, please just give me nice vitamin A's and I'll do the work for you. So giving your body what it needs in order to do its job is a big help for your body. And you'll notice that instead of redness and flakiness, the redness goes away and it looks flawless, hydrated. I mean, I'm 45 years old. I have a little bit of lipstick on and some eyelash stuff to brighten my eyes and my lips for you. But there's nothing on my skin. I have nothing on it. I don't wear any kind of foundation or anything because I believe that the best foundation you can wear is healthy, hydrated skin. And that's all I'm showing off and popping off these days. And people ask me every day, what do you do to keep your skin so nice? Because my skin was not always this nice. All been because of seaweed. So I took the time to actually write out the 92 minerals for you. I took the time to write out every single vitamin that can be found in seaweeds. And I also took the time to write out the bioactives and then what they're good for. So I didn't want to go into big long sentences. You'll notice maybe one word right beside it, just telling you what for the minerals and the vitamins. And then I'll get into it a little deeper in the next part. But let's just look at this for now. 92 minerals. What are they? Iodine, great for thyroid. Iron, great for hemoglobin. Magnesium, relaxation. I'm not going to read them out one by one. You can read them. But just look at this. This is what seaweed offers. So when I'm telling you, I am not exaggerating, not for one bit. You know, arthritis prevention, osteoporosis prevention, neurotransmission help, antioxidant, cancer treating. It's all right there. And you can get deeper and deeper into these if you want. You know, it's just on and on. Antiparasitic, very important. Immune boosting, radiation shielding, cancer treating, chemotherapeutic. The list is endless. And when you think of something like mercury, you're thinking toxic, right? But in tiny amounts, our body actually needs it. Arsenic, in tiny amounts, our body needs it. So virtually all naturally occurring elements seaweed has, and has the ability to absorb them in high amounts from the ocean. But that's why it's so important about where are you getting your seaweed from. So where we are, Dad, who is one of the founders of this business, was a marine biologist for the government of Canada. And every year we go out and we test that water. And year after year, our water comes back cleaner than our drinking water. So I stand by the fact that we are in some of the purest waters in the world. We're between the Olympic Mountains and the Haida Gwaii. So you've got literally, like if you look at Vancouver Island, you're surrounded on the American side and the Canadian side, all by more parks than population. So not having a high density population is super helpful. And also, we work with the Georgia Strait Alliance and other nonprofits and activists that are helping to keep the the container ships and stuff out of these waters, because it is such an important little piece of water where it's so pristine and so beautiful and so perfect. We want to keep it that way to preserve it, preserve this environment, to have this amazing seaweed that is so healthy and nutrient dense and not full of the toxins that you might find in other places that are doing seaweed harvesting. So let's talk about these unique bioactives that are offered by seaweed and not by land plants. You have polysaccharides. Now there's polysaccharides, also called sulfated polysaccharides. And if you look at what they're being researched for, I believe the list is endless. It's literally endless. They act as a soothing balm, calming the hot flashes and night sweats. Yes, definitely. But they're also going to help to build that delivery system into the body for the vitamins and minerals that are found. It's also going to help with your bone health and other things in your body that is really crucial during menopause. You have polyphenols and plurotannins, which are nature's strongest antioxidants. They're protecting your cells from oxidative stress. So let's say you're somebody who has a really busy lifestyle and you eat out a lot in North America. Everything's cooked with canola oil. Canola oil and kale and other things are full of oxalates. Oxalates cause oxidative stress. So although we think that canola oil is healthy, it's absolutely not. It wreaks havoc on the body. We think kale is healthy. It's absolutely great for you if it weren't for that darn oxidative stress it causes. So just because something has a lot of vitamins and minerals in it, like kale, doesn't mean it's actually good for you, because it could actually be hurting you and having negative effects on your body as well. So this is really important to think about. What are we putting in our body, and what kind of damage is it doing to our cells? And then what can we use to counteract those things? So antioxidants, for sure. That's what we're looking for. They're like a shield against the ravages of time. I've noticed that as I've aged over the last 10 years using SeaFlora, no word of a lie, I look almost the same age. I know I'm getting older, and yeah, you can see a little wee bit of saggage here. There's a bit of shadow starting. Yeah, I have a tiny bit, but in 10 years, my skin actually looks healthier than it did at 35. At 35, I had cystic acne here. I had much more wrinkles here than I do now. I swear to you. But it's because I was living a very unhealthy lifestyle in the Windsor, Detroit area and was not taking good care of myself. Coming out to Vancouver Island and incorporating seaweed into my life and cutting alcohol out of my life. And I was just telling Katie that I did carnivore for a whole year, and it changed my life. There was moles on my body that have disappeared. It's amazing what I've learned on my health journey. And again, I'm happy to share anything. Please reach out, email, anything you want to know. If I can help from an anecdotal experience, I'll tell you about my experiences. I'm not shy. I believe that optimal health should just be what everybody deserves and everybody has access to. So let's talk about hormonal balance and the hot flashes that you experience. The plurotannins and the polyphenols help a lot to regulate these hormonal fluctuations and reduce the intensity of your hot flashes. So instead of having something really severe like a tropical moment, it may be more like after you drink a few sips of coffee and you feel your thermogenics go up, right? So it's not so intense. It can be really embarrassing to be out in the world and be having a crazy hot flash. So if we can reduce that, that's wonderful. And the only thing that it's doing is just giving you something that's very similar to estrogen in your body. So doing it naturally is a beautiful way. Carotenoids. I have fallen in love with carotenoids because not only do they brighten our skin and help the texture of our skin, they also gently stimulate the metabolism and help us maintain a healthier weight. So something I've noticed is that I can run a bit faster when I'm running. I can walk a little longer. Why? Because the seaweeds are also reducing the amount of lactic acid in my muscles. So that's a beautiful thing too. Carotenoids, polyphenols, mycosporin-like amino acids, all of them provide awesome antioxidant effects. Mycosporin-like amino acids have a whole nother thing that they do. So all of these would be considered pigments if you don't know. But what they do is they actually protect the seaweeds when they bake in the sun. So you think about it, like the tide goes out and those seaweeds, they sit out there in the sun and they bake to a crisp. And then even the roots. And then the tide comes in and the water comes back and they just keep flourishing. And how they do that is with mycosporin-like amino acids, which you can't find from land plants. You can only find it from some fungi and also seaweeds. So they're great for your inflammation, menopausal symptoms, but also super awesome for UV protection free radical damage, and other things that are happening in our skin, causing hyperpigmentation and other stress on the skin. Sterols. Fucosterol, another beautiful thing that mimics the body's own hormones. And as our estrogen's declining, like that's 2 or 3 things now that we've seen that is going to help to give us a natural estrogen. It says, they whisper to the body, reminding it of its innate balance. It's all about balance, isn't it? And cardiovascular support is super important. As we get into our 50s, we start noticing that people are having heart attacks around us. And we can prevent that by having a really healthy diet that incorporates seaweeds, because they're going to really help your heart health, help with your blood pressure, help with your glucose levels. Like I said, it all kind of works together. So getting that good cardiovascular support. In my research, what I have found is that varicose veins are actually one symptom of having really low copper levels. So again, if you're someone like me who used to take zinc all the time, I used to take zinc a lot, especially during the whole COVID thing. I took a lot of zinc to try and keep my immune system up. And then when I did a mineral test, my copper levels were so low. And I didn't realize that the zinc was zapping all my copper. So that's how I learned that copper and what is it so important for. Copper is important for the color of your hair as well. So if you're going gray really fast, it could be that your copper's low. If you're getting super deep wrinkles, your copper could be low. Copper is important for collagen. It's important for your immune system, all these things that I didn't understand. And you may know this. All the water piping used to be copper. So the piping for the water coming into our house, all through our house, leaving our house, it used to be copper. And the fact that it's not anymore has had a huge effect on our health as a society. I've given you some good rabbit holes to jump into. Seaweed and hormonal balance. I mean, then really that's the whole topic, isn't it? So phytoestrogen interaction. Interaction. So phytoestrogens interact with your estrogen receptors in the body. That is what I'm talking about. And that's what we want them to do. It's great that they're estrogen-like, but do they interact with your body's receptors? Yes, they do. So they offer great benefits when you're losing that estrogen in your body, estrogen metabolism. So modifications in estrogen metabolism during postmenopausal women is also helped, because it'll have the opposite reaction. It'll start bringing it back up. So don't overeat the seaweed, because you don't want to have diarrhea and stuff like that. So eating too much, can cause some issues in your body, but nothing like super bad. Of course, you don't want to have too much iodine. You don't want to have too much fiber. So there is things to think about, but it's not like you're going to overdose or anything bad's going to happen to you. So if you want to eat, instead of 5 grams, maybe you like to eat, 30 to 50 grams, that's fine too. And different seaweeds do taste different. So you may want to look at which seaweeds that you like the taste of best, or maybe even mix and match them. Because with the 3 families, what I've noticed is that the greens are the highest in chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is great for your blood. It's so similar to your blood plasma. So chlorophyll can do so many great things for your blood, cleaning your blood. It's a blood purifier. And the seaweeds do the same thing in the water. They just sway in the water and they filter it. So they filter the water, they filter your blood just the same, which is really amazing, because we need to filter that blood and clean it out and purify it, because it's being, like I said, overloaded with so many toxins in the environment, in our foods, et cetera, our water. So this is really important to know. Your red seaweeds are going to be the highest in proteins. So they're going to be the best collagen builders. So your pyropia would be considered a red seaweed. Although it looks brown, this is a red seaweed. Your brown seaweeds are going to be the highest in B vitamins and also in mycosporin-like amino acids. So it's really interesting to mix them up and have little bits from each family when you're eating it, instead of just eating one. And then maybe you'll find that you like the taste of one more than the other, and want to focus on that one a bit more. So equal production. For women who are equal producers, the combination of seaweed and soy significantly increases equal excretion, which may offer additional benefits for menopausal women. I already talked about that a bit, I think. Getting that lubrication going again, and it's really important to the body. So if you are feeling very dry down there, it's uncomfortable, and it's also sometimes embarrassing when we want to have an intimate time with our partner. So just eating a little seaweed, and you'll notice a difference within 3 days. Literally within 3 days, you'll notice that secretion down there has changed significantly for the better. Also the smell. I find that the smell down there can change, and I have found that seaweed does help with the smell. And those long bleeds. Sometimes when we're going through menopause, we might bleed for 2-3 months at a time. It happens, and maybe only small amounts. But think about how much iron your body is losing when you're bleeding that much, and all the healthy stuff coming out of the body that your body needs. It's leaving the body, so you can feel more weak, more tired, which leaves you to feel more cranky and, dare I say it, a little bit bitchy, right? We can be a bit bitchy sometimes. It's not our fault. We're going through a lot. So eating that seaweed can help. And then we're going to feel better, and we're going to be nicer and calmer, and we'll have what our body needs when we're losing so much blood. We've talked about the prebiotic effects, but we didn't talk about the beneficial bacteria in the gut. So if you're noticing that you have a lot of acne, your body eliminates waste through the 3 P's: your pee, your poop, and your pores. So if it can't get rid of it through your pee and your poop, it's going to come through your pores. So having good bacteria in your gut is super important. They've realized that eczema is caused by a missing bacteria. So when people use SeaFlora, and you can go on Google and read the hundreds of reviews, you'll notice that every few reviews is about either psoriasis or eczema or rosacea, and how SeaFlora has helped them with these issues when no other brand could. And it's because our products are not mass produced. They're produced in small batches by hand, and we don't, like you might see that people are using seaweed in their products. But the difference is that they're using this. They're using a bleached, dried, powdered extract. If you want to call that seaweed, you be my guest. But SeaFlora uses the whole plant. We use it completely, all of it. And the reason we do that is to keep all of the bioactives and everything in it. So when you dry it, nothing bad happens. But when you bleach it, powder it, process it, I made the example of the seaweed sheets that they use for sushi. Does that look like this? Not at all. So we wanted to keep the seaweeds biologically active so that you have the beneficial bacteria that is going to be on your skin. Your microbiome is mostly bacteria. We are mostly bacteria. We're more bacteria than human cells. So focusing on bacteria is really important. If you take an antibiotic, you ever notice that you have an issue down there after? Because it's killing all the bacterias. You want to instead, in my opinion, feed the good bacteria, which will balance out and kill off the bad bacteria. For example, somebody with rosacea will ask me about skincare, and I'll keep talking to them about their gut. And usually this confuses them because no doctor or dermatologist does that. It's important because I have realized and researched and found out that if you have rosacea, you're likely to test positive for H. pylori bacteria, which is wreaking havoc in your gut and in your body. H. pylori bacteria can actually kill you over time. So it's really important to think of your skin like a report card for how good your internal systems are doing. Because if 75% of people with rosacea are testing positive for H. pylori, and they've discovered that people with eczema are actually missing a bacteria that's very important for us, then it's really important to just start thinking about our gut health and our bacteria overall. So During menopause, hormonal changes disrupt the gut bacteria, and we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to give them everything they need to be healthy and flourishing. We want those good bacteria flourishing. So a healthy gut microbiome has anti-inflammatory effects. And you'll notice that people who have psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, they have inflammation on the skin. It could be in the shape of scales, or it could just be in raised redness, and it just looks puffy on the cheeks. And sometimes people with rosacea get really bad acne. This is the H. pylori and bad bacteria coming through on the skin, because where you're breaking out is really important too. Discolorations in the skin, right? So if you've got a dark back neck, dark underarms, dark groin area, you have a serious insulin problem. So you need to focus on getting your insulin sensitivity back to where it should be. If you've got the red inflammation, right, you're thinking bacteria. If you have acne on your nose, that's speaking to your heart. Here is your hormones, your reproductive area. So these things are important to be looking at. Where are you breaking out? Is it a color difference in your skin? Where is it happening? And then you can use something like traditional Chinese face mapping to put the puzzle together, because your skin really is like a report card. The fiber content in seaweed, I said it helps you feel fuller, but it doesn't just do that. It also is going to help to clean the tract, give you good bacteria, and also reduce that inflammation, which is really important. And that iodine for your thyroid function. I mean, I cannot stress this enough. If you're bleeding for months before you actually stop bleeding altogether for the rest of your life, it can have real havoc on the body. It just, right? So we just want to keep our body nice, balanced, give it what it needs. As we're depleting, we want to replenish. So helping to lock in moisture, really beneficial as our skin becomes drier, and also giving the body what it needs to not look so old. Because I'm noticing that my friends look much older than I do, and they're in their 40s, and I'm thinking, okay, you're 39 to 41, I'm 45. I should look older than you, but I look younger than you. And I feel proud because I know that it's what I'm putting in my body and it's all the research I've done. So looking younger as we age leads to elation, in my opinion, because there is so much emphasis on how we look in society. So if we can do things to look younger as we age, boy, what a world of difference that can make, right? So then we feel happier to be moving into this new age group and prouder of what we're doing. And I'm trying to come up with this marketing campaign that's like, are you old enough to know how to stay young? Because we learn so much as we age. So the anti-aging effects are a huge bonus. Like when you clean out the clutter and your systems have what they need, your body's going to function so much better. And the anti-inflammatory properties cannot be talked about enough, because the inflammation in the body is what's causing our chronic pain. It's what leads to our arthritis and other issues. So we just want to make sure that we're getting rid of that inflammation whenever and wherever we can. So we talked about nori, but there's other seaweeds we can eat too. Oh, don't worry, I brought a lot of seaweeds to show you. This is laminaria, also known as kombu. So you may have had kombucha before, which is kombu tea. But in North America, we've taken the kombu out of it. I'm not sure why. So this seaweed can be fermented and then drank as a beautiful tea, giving you all the nutritional properties that you're looking for. So you don't want to ever boil these, because you're going to lose some of the nutritional components. I'll compare it to coffee. Coffee should never go above 155 degrees. And the reason is because you lose any nutritional benefits from the coffee. So seaweeds are the same, chaga mushrooms as well, if you didn't know. So yeah, you don't want to boil them. Look at these beautiful alginates. Can you see the slime strings as I just pull it apart? That's all the rich alginates that you're looking for. Just coating your skin in this is all the sun protection that you need. We were out on Savory Island doing a seaweed talk, just baking in the sun. And I took the seaweed goop and I just rubbed it on my arms, and I did not get any kind of burn. But I noticed where I didn't put it on the back of my neck burned really bad. But it was great because I got to see how bad I would have burnt if I didn't do it. Another seaweed that we like to eat is Hedophyllum. This is a beautiful seaweed that grows around here. Hedophyllum is a star in our Sea Bright moisturizer, helping to reduce the hyperpigmentation. So this seaweed, you can see the texture is really neat. And it has to do with the salinity in the ocean and also the movement of the water. If I take this and I put it into Epsom salts, it will turn bright green and the little bumps will become much more accentuated because this seaweed reacts to salinity and also to temperature and movement. It's really interesting. Now here you see it looks like laminaria and could confuse you, right? Because it's flat. And then you start to notice that it's starting to get texture. Well, it is laminaria. And the texture is coming again from salinity in this bucket while it's been sitting here, and also from the influence of the seaweeds around it, which is kind of interesting. So there's lots of cool stuff that happens with seaweed. This is Mazaella, and this is our favorite seaweed to use because not only is it unique to the area, it's super strong and will help to build the keratin, elastin, and collagen in our skin. So I wouldn't eat Mazaella, not for any good reason. I just find it too chewy. So I would stick to the nori, Pyropia nori. I really like the bladderwrack. It's great to just chew on. I dry it and chew on it. And as I said, I love the pickled stipes. That's hollow, if you didn't know. Whereas eating the actual Nereocystis bull kelp fronds, I don't find they have much taste. I'm not going to say no, I won't eat them. I do. But I really prefer the pickled stipe. So there's lots of ways that you can eat it. And I was showing you the uva lactuca, which is also called sea lettuce. This can be a nice salad just on its own. You know, if you're an oyster fan, eating it with oysters, oh man. So yeah, common edible seaweeds, ways to cook it. Like I said, stick it in your chili, your curry, whatever. It's really up to you how you want to eat it. Dry it, snack on it. There's lots of ways to incorporate it into your diet. In China, what they're doing is they've taken seaweed and they've put it in these big hive-like structures that go up about 100 feet in the air, and they clean a 400 square kilometer area of the air. The seaweed is used to purify the air in China. And then all of this sludge comes out, seaweed sludge, and then they turn that into biofuel. So the amount of things that seaweed can do is pretty amazing. It's already in your toothpaste as a thickener. It could be in your paint. It could be in, just glue, a bunch of different things. Seaweed's being used for a lot of really cool things in your sushi, etc., and places that we just don't expect it. But it's just such a versatile organism. It can be used a lot of ways. Protecting the coast, absolutely. Here, because we're on an island, we do notice that the seaweed beds do help with coastal protection, and they help with water quality. So having these huge, healthy forests all around the island really help us to have the cleanest water in the world. So the chelating properties of seaweed is important to talk about. The heavy metal absorption, and then what that means, and then the benefit of it. So heavy metal absorption, detoxification, the alginate content and what it does. The alginates bind the heavy metals and radioactive elements and then eliminate it through your waste channels. Well, in the ocean, what it does is it actually, you know how trees will take CO2 and they'll turn it into, wait, I'm probably saying it wrong, but they take the bad stuff and they make it good stuff. And how our bodies will take food and there's a chemical reaction that happens and it comes out very different than it went in. This is exactly what they're doing in the waters. They're actually changing and eco-engineers, they're actually filtering, changing, there's chemical processes going on, and they just make the water so much better. And that's what they're doing for us, for us as humans when we eat it, is that it's actually having a chemical process in the body, attracting the radioactive elements, the heavy metals, etc. So, just letting them do their job is really, really good because we are ocean. Our blood plasma is less than 1 molecule different from ocean water. Your embryonic fluid, your blood, your sweat, your tears is all ocean water. You can take your white blood cells, put them into clean ocean water, and they will function normally for up to 6 weeks. There's only a few processes that they do where they go, wait, where am I? What's going on? So otherwise, they think that they're in your blood. It's really neat, this flowing chemistry we have with the ocean. Phytochelations. Seaweed produce peptides that combine to heavy metals. So they don't just create the peptides that we need for collagen, they create peptides that also help to reduce the heavy metals in our body. And sulfated polysaccharides found in brown seaweeds are great chelators, great UV protectors, and full of antioxidants. So many great things happening with seaweeds when it comes to being overloaded with heavy metals.
All right, Chantelle, this was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. Where can people find you?
SeaFloraSkincare.com, but also Instagram, Facebook, and all the other channels.